Marcia says, how do I revive an old shop that has a negative quality score? Okay, I have thoughts about that. I have comments about that, but I'll read your whole question first. How do I find out what my shop's quality score is? Both of my shops are older. One is from 2008, the other from 2010. What are your suggestions for these two shops? I'm only getting a few sales a month. My annual revenue is under $3,000 for both shops and has been for years. Thanks, and just give it to me straight. Okay. All right. First of all, your shops are older, but that doesn't mean anything. Okay. I mean, that actually shows that you have a good track record. Not that Etsy cares about that because they'll shut shops regardless of how old they are. We know that. It's not good. Um, Second, you never know what your quality score is. And if you guys don't know what this is, the Etsy referred to something called the Q score. Okay. And it's basically your, they refer to, so okay, we're not sure because they haven't ever actually defined this anywhere that I know of. But Josh referred to something called the Q score that figures into where you place in search, and it's based on your shop quality rating. And that would be how fast you ship things. Do you answer messages? It's basically the star seller stuff. It's nothing new. This is all that stuff is always figured into search. And we know that, but they actually have a name for it. So it's probably a metric that is worked into the algorithm in some way, even though they have never told us that. And I want to say that Josh was talking about this during a tech conference that I was listening to, and that's where they tend to brag about things they do. Oh, we do this with AI. We love this. But he mentioned this as part of the algorithm that helps you place in search. Okay. Etsy's Q score is nothing new, but you don't know what it is. Okay. So when you're saying you have a negative quality rating, that doesn't make any sense to me. And that's what I said. I have comments about this because you don't know what your quality rating is. If you're doing your job, if someone orders something and you ship it promptly, if you are answering your messages, if you're getting decent reviews, you're doing your job and your quality score is going to be fine. So your Q score is fine unless you have bad reviews, you ship things late, the whole thing. That's as long as you're, and I know Marcia, I know that she's doing her job. I know that her shop is good quality products. I'm not concerned about that. I don't think that your shop has a bad quality score, just in general. Now, in your case where you do want to increase your business, I would have to look at the two shops separately and talk about what you're doing for marketing, because Etsy is not a platform anymore that you can reliably get traffic without doing your own marketing. And I know that you have other marketing things that you do. And I'm talking to Marcia now, okay, because Marcia's the one that asked the question. But that's the kind of thing that I think all of us just need to accept the fact that if you're going to sell anything online and you want to make a full-time income or even a part-time income, okay, you need to do a lot more work than you used to because the competition is just a lot higher. And we know that in 2020, everybody decided to sell online because everybody was home from work, right? A lot of people lost their jobs. A bunch of artists in my town were like, oh my God, I need to start selling stuff online because all the galleries closed that I sell on. So competition is higher. That means that you have to work harder to be seen because the pool is bigger. You also have to look at what you're selling and is it something that people are looking for? And I would have to go and look at your actual shops. But what I would tell people is look at what's working. What are you selling? Do you have 100 things in your shop where you're selling two things repeatedly? Like, is there one or two things in your shop that are selling and nothing else is? If that's the case, you need to make more things that are like the things that are selling. And this sounds super obvious, okay? But you have to figure out not just why are they selling, but what about it makes people buy them. Sometimes it's the design, sometimes it's the function, sometimes it's the color, right? And people tend to buy things. I remember a long time ago, somebody was talking about buying planners based on the color or like office supplies in general, right? And they made the point, and this was I wish I could remember who said this because I was like, this is a really good thing to keep in mind. But if I'm going to go buy a cute planner, I'm going to buy it based on what the cover of the planner looks like. It has nothing to do with what's inside the planner. And you do want to get, okay, I know for planners, people like a certain inside. But if I had two planners, they have exactly the same insides, same layouts, that kind of stuff. One has a cute cover and one has an ugly cover. I know which one I'm going to buy. Okay. So you buy the planner with the cute cover and then you take it home and you do this. Okay, you never see the cover again, unless you're going to carry your planner around, which I don't know. People keep their planners open, don't they? I mean, I'm sure some people close their planners, right? I close this notebook, but you get the point that there are reasons, like you might say, people buy this because of the layout. No, when they're in the store and they're looking on the shelves, and when they're in your shop and they're looking at your listing photos, they're looking at the pictures. And there's something about that design that they like. There's something about the color that they like. And then secondarily, they'll go in and say, okay, is it a vertical layout? Is it horizontal? Are there features that I like about it? But they're attracted to things because of the design and the colors. And this whole conversation that I had years ago was about how people buy things based on color. And I'm like, yeah, that's true. I do it. So a lot of times we think, oh, people are buying this because of this, but then it's really just something intangible that we're not even thinking about. And that's the reason that people are attracted to it. So I would look at what is actually selling in your shop and really think about, why is this selling? Go and look at the search results where that comes up. Okay. Look at the search results where your listing comes up and look at the other listings that are in those search results and see if you can see a common theme or see if you see something that makes yours stand out and look different. But there's probably something that you can capitalize on and make more of that thing, whether it's color or design or function. There are a lot of reasons why people buy things, and you need to figure out what that is. And it could be that you're the only one that can figure that out because you know your customer base and you hear from your customers and you probably are more connected to them than an outside person would be. But you need to really put some thought into analyzing why people are buying the things that they're buying and then do more of that, whatever the reason is. And honestly, most of us probably, I don't even know what the percentage is. Tell me if this is true for you guys. For the most part, the 80-20 rule, and that's just that's a very arbitrary number, but I would say that the majority of my sales from products were from the same pool of a smaller set of those products. So I had hundreds of products that just never sold, whether that's because they didn't show up in the Etsy marketplace. That's one reason. Because we know that it's kind of rigged to show things that are already selling. So you do have that working against you. But the fact is that people will list a lot of things and then only sell a small portion of those. And you theoretically could pull everything out that never sells and still make the same number of sales because that's just how it works. So there's a lot that goes into this, but the basic thing is that I don't think that people spend enough time analyzing what's selling and why is it selling. And sometimes things sell on one platform where they won't sell on another platform because it's not right for that platform. That's a whole other thing. That's a whole other discussion. But you need to really go in and look to see what's going on and figure out why people want certain things and they're not buying other things, and then figure out how you can capitalize on that information.